Live.
Oh, we're live. Great. Well, first of all, thank you again, Dave and Lorraine, for offering to do this. When I met you back in January, I was so struck by your health and vitality. It sort of really leapt out for me, and I really felt like I wanted to get to know you. And I also immediately felt like I wanted my clients back in Calgary to get to know you and get to hear your story of how the Exercise Institute has influenced your life. So I guess that's where I'd like to start, and I'm not sure which one would like to start, just telling me, yeah, Dave, if you wouldn't mind, what has happened for you as a result of training here at EI?
Okay. Well, it initially started with my certified rolfer, Owen Marcus, and I was walking around so stiff I was like a zombie, and he helped me to begin to be able to walk normally, so I have to hand it to him on that account. Owen's the one who recommended that I try this, and I have to admit I was very apprehensive because I've worked out, off and on my whole life in my background being in public service, and normally I'd spend hours in the gym with the guys grunting and groaning and throwing weight around, but never really had any really great results, you know. And so when he said that I could come and work out for 15 minutes once or twice a week, I really, wasn't being rude, but I had a hard time believing that. I'm like, well, yeah, sure, okay, right. I'll think about that. And he told me a couple of times about that. He's like, yeah, you got to check this out once a week, and you're not going to believe the results you're going to have. And so I still was like, how could you get a good workout in 15 minutes? But I wasn't familiar with the concept, the Body by Science, or Exercise Institute, or any of it. So, but reluctantly, I thought, well, he's very knowledgeable and everything else, and he's got me walking and not so stiff, so I thought I'd give it a try. So I went and checked it out, and I weighed about 210 pounds when my first workout, and I've lost in about 6 months. I mean, that was the first, I was weighing myself before I came, and my plan wasn't to lose weight. And I hope I'm not rambling here, but I weighed about 210 pounds, and I just weighed myself a couple of days ago, and I was 175. So I've lost about, somewhere between 30 and 35 pounds. And my fat, the composition of my fat is down about 8 or 9%. And so that was a lot for me, and I was actually surprised that I was as fat as I was. And I think most people do that. You slowly get fatter and fatter and fatter. And she noticed I was fat, but I got one of those comedy mirrors, I guess, from the carnival, and I didn't think I was fat. But I didn't realize I had such a huge percentage of body fat. And so for me to lose almost 9% body fat is huge for me, in my opinion. So I'm ecstatic about it, and we've done that in about 6 months or so. And
Do you know what your increase in muscle mass is, by chance?
I don't know I can't remember what it originally was. We can look it up, but it's up quite a bit. I'd have to look it up and see.
And how about your strength in general?
I think just normal day-to-day things, I feel a lot stronger. I feel like I have a lot more energy. And I know we're burning a lot more calories because just with the technique, that the muscle mass burns fat,
Yeah.
So it's incredible. I'm very pleased with it. I still have a hard time believing that we can do it. And sometimes I've looked on my watch, and I come in here and I'm in and out of here like in 12 minutes. And I really, I'm like.
Do you come once or twice a week now?
We're going twice a week right now, and we could go to once a week, I'm sure, and stuff. Just speaking with Spirit and Owen, and still get gains.
Oh yeah.
But I still kind of like coming.
Right.
I kind of like coming twice a week, just for the. It's a whole 15 minutes twice a week. And so I'm
can you
pleased.
paint the picture a little bit more, like what was before in terms of how you felt in your body? And you've sort of given us the fat drop off and the weight decrease. Just
I can probably
like,
say better than him
actually,
even, because
sure.
I've noticed a big change in him. Just that he was reluctant really to do much of anything. He just sat around a lot. It was hard to move. It was hard to go up the stairs. I could see that he was kind of in pain. And it wasn't that he's lazy. It just that he really, it was not a comfortable feeling. Even just walking around was hard. And I can hear him going up the steps, you know, I can hear the weight that it's not so hard. He's not relying on just one leg, or it's not slow, and you can just tell it's painful. I could tell before that it was, but I could see now, I can see him move around, do things, you know, just without thinking about it. Just be more normal.
How's
And
that feel for you to see
It
your
feels
husband
really
that
good,
way?
really good, because it was a little scary.
I mean, she says, when I sit around the house, I sat around the house, you know, around the house, like the comedian says. No, but it is cyclical.
Reluctant to move.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it is cyclical, and I noticed, and Owen had mentioned that, and Spirit had mentioned that, and that is, you know, the stronger you get, and the more fat that you lose, the more energetic you become, and it is cyclical, and that causes you to want to be more active, which in turn makes you more fit. And I did. She said that to me one night. I was coming up the stairs to bed, and she says, I can just hear you coming up the stairs, and you're coming up the stairs. It sounds silly, but she says, I can hear you coming up the stairs a lot faster, and you don't seem to be in as much pain. And before, I would groan and grunt like, ugh, going up the stairs, you know.
Yeah,
So-
a woman can really hear all that.
It's
and
funny
feel
that
all
I never-
in your mate, for sure.
I never perceived that she could hear that, but yeah, before, and I had a lot more pain. I had more pain in my joints and so forth. So it is kind of cyclical. And of course, the more, I don't know what the word would be, the more stagnant you become, the more complacent you become, then that also was cyclical.
So it sounds like this really turned things around for you.
It really did. I think we're a lot more active. We haven't done a whole bunch yet. It's been, because we're busy, but we're looking forward to going hiking and stuff this summer, which we didn't really.
Nice.
We weren't as active before, so now we can look. Before I was in so much pain, we're like, well, you know, walk out and get the mail and come back, you know. So we're looking forward to doing some things now, you know, taking some hikes and packing a lunch, and which before it wasn't as optimistic. So it has changed kind of the whole perception of optimism, I think, too.
Do you feel younger?
I do. I actually do feel younger. I feel a lot more energetic, and it does affect your whole psyche. I feel a lot happier.
And you're retired from the fire
Service. I was in the fire service for 25 years.
So that probably wreaked some havoc on your body, that line of work.
It did. 80% of our calls were medical aid related calls, and lifting gurneys, you know, of people in traffic collisions and all that, and just it really did wreak havoc in my back and my neck and hips, and did a lot of heavy lifting. And a lot of times, you know, as I mentioned, you know, to Owen, jumping up at 2 in the morning, you're in a dead sleep. You jump up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you got to give it 100% effort. And you might have to lift 400, 500-pound man in a gurney with just one other person. And a lot of the gurneys now are hydraulic, but we didn't have hydraulic gurneys at that time. They're just it's all manual. So you had to actually lift that weight. 3 in the morning, you were in a dead sleep. You jump up and drive the fire truck to the location. You have to jump up, get your wits about you, figure out where you're going. You know, your heart's racing, and your muscles aren't warmed up. And then, okay, lift this guy, or you got to lift the jaws of life. You got to cut into a car.
Wow.
And I think over the years that
Under a lot of stress too. Like.
Yeah, it created a lot of injuries that I'm still working on. I think they're getting a lot better though. So.
Great. Wow.
And
Thanks, Dave.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, and she's lost a lot of weight too. She was
Well,
already.
we want to hear Lorraine's
Yeah.
story too.
Yeah, she.
Well, not that much weight. I think I've only lost about 9 pounds, but those were those last kind of 10 to 15 pounds. I'd actually like to lose a few more pounds, but that are really tough to lose, and those pounds that kind of just you gain over the years. And I had lost a lot of muscle. I didn't realize I had lost so much muscle and had gained so much fat. Like my proportions were changed, and I was just getting that middle-aged, ugly look. And
No.
yeah, and I mean, I felt pretty good, but I can see I feel a lot stronger. I can feel I'm much more even. That my right and my left side are both strong. It's not that one side's doing more of the work, or maybe it still does a little bit, but it's so much more even than it was. And I'm stronger. I've got the muscle tone that I had. It reminds me of the muscle tone that I had when I was young, just a kid, and I was kind of strong. And I really like that. I really like that. And I've lost a lot of fat. I can see a big change, much more than 9 pounds. I can see a big change in my body. But yeah, And I've lost some, a couple percentage points of body fat and pounds, and it feels good.
Where was that body fat? Was it around the middle? That classic?
A lot around the middle, but there was, I've legs and back and everywhere, even my arms, because my arms were kind of looking like old lady arms. And now they're getting like strong again, and I like that, It feels good. It feels good because I feel strong. And yeah, it does affect the way you, the energy you have and just the way you perceive life. When you feel good, life looks good. That's it.
And your work is the nursing field?
I work 12-hour night shifts. So, and I need to be strong really to do that, because it's hard to do that.
And she too has to lift and move a lot of people, reposition them, and sometimes it's, to get help if they're shorthanded. Sometimes she's got to try to.
I don't ever try to do it by myself, but
No.
yeah, sometimes you could use 4 people and you only have 2, so
Right.
you do the best you can. But yeah,
But in her defense, I've got to say, she was much leaner and probably more fit than I when we started. So it is more challenging for her to get her body fat even down more than what she began at. But me, I was pretty chunky monkey.
Yeah, well, like you say, it's sort of that last 10 pounds
is
the
more
stickiest.
difficult. Yeah, it is sticky.
So how long did it take for you to notice?
Right away, actually very quickly. Because when we first started, I think I was, well, I'll give it a try. I wasn't one to really go to gyms or do something like that. I really never have done that. I've always kind of exercised on my own at home or sometimes at work, in the middle of the night. And I just never wanted to spend the money or just do that. I just didn't want to do that. So I really wasn't planning on doing it except for for 2 weeks. And I could tell immediately after 2 weeks that my body was responding very quickly. I could tell right away. Maybe even after the first time I could say, I could tell.
What did you feel?
I just felt a toneness in my body, and I could see that this was going to work. It's hard to say exactly, but I could tell right away that it was going to work. So I said, well, let's just do this. Let's keep it up.
And I was going to mention too, is that I didn't decide to do this when Owen mentioned this to try it. My intention was never to lose weight. Because at that point in time, I thought, oh, I'm not that fat,
Yeah, we
So
didn't think we
that
were
was-
fat at all.
The whole thing about me losing 35 pounds so far was an added bonus. I never came in like I need to lose weight. I came in with the intention of trying to get better, in better shape, to get stronger, to get more maybe get more energy, and so that all kind of came as a byproduct, I feel.
Yeah, and his
wasn't-
weight was different. His fat is different from my fat, and his fat, he looked pretty much the same as what he looks right now, but he was thicker. He was thicker, and his fat was harder. I don't know, it was just,
Yeah.
it was weird. It wasn't like he had
Guy
a big
fat.
belly or anything, he didn't. But,
And yeah, I think when I turned sideways toward the mirror, I was about the same dimension as I am looking straight forward like this. So I think it was about the same thickness as I was wide almost.
yeah,
I just didn't realize it,
Kind of blocky.
So yeah, it was kind of square shaped maybe.
but he's
But-
lost 35 pounds, and it was all fat that he's lost.
Wow, incredible. Well, I think it's so cool that you two are doing this as a couple. You look absolutely gorgeous together.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
Really stand out as this vital, healthy couple. And I'm just wondering if you have any, well, I have 2 things I want to ask actually. How does it feel to be with your partner doing this and to see the changes in your partner? I heard a little bit from Lorraine, but I'd love to hear from Dave how you feel watching Lorraine's body transform. And
I think it's
becoming
great. No, I think it's awesome. I mean, part of it too was that we thought that this was something that we could do together. And it was one way that we could spend some time together, because you do kind of get caught up in life going different directions and so forth, and that was something that we wanted to do. And even though it's a short period of time, we still enjoy doing it together and working out and pumping each other up and encouraging each other, as we're doing our workout. And I think it's fun. I look forward to it. And
Great.
she looks great.
And Dave, don't be shy, because I'd really like to hear how you feel about your wife just looking so trim and.
Oh, well, I'm proud of her. I'm very proud of her. I'm excited. I love her and I'm proud of her. She looks great. She looks even better. And it is fun working out together. It's fun working out together. I mean, we enjoy pumping each other up, the same thing.
Awesome.
You can do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
yeah.
more.
Wow. Great, and then
So-
did you want to say
I
something?
did,
Larry?
because we had tried some things at home, like do some tapes at home. We tried to
Mm-hmm.
do some things together. We've tried it on and off through the years to try to exercise just a little bit, but everything we did, he got hurt.
Wow.
Or I got hurt, or we'd have some kind of little injury, and it just never worked out, it never worked out. And I gotta say that we've never gotten hurt doing this at all. We've just gotten stronger and stronger, and it's been wonderful, because it was
The-
touch and go with him, because I didn't
Yeah.
want him to get hurt, he was already hurting.
That's a good
You know,
point.
that's the last thing I wanted for him.
That's a great point.
And
yeah.
then I would be liking it, but then he'd get hurt, and so then there it went.
Yeah,
You know, it
because-
just was no good.
Because of my prior injuries, we would get pumped up, we'd see something on TV and we'd call the number, order the tapes. All right, we're gonna do this, and we did do it, but it was normally end up to an injury. And because a lot of the stuff on the tapes, they have you just going,
Too crazy,
just
too
full
fast.
out, yeah, just full out so fast, and I'd end up, and then it would take, and then just, we'd backtrack, because of like, well, I'm laid up, I twisted my knee, or I sprained my ankle, or I jacked up my shoulder, or whatever. And then that'd be on the back burner, like, I can't do anything now. And so
Discouraging.
Yeah.
so I've gotta say that
Frustrating.
this, we've been able, because of the technique and the methodology that you do it, we've been doing it for 6 months without a single injury. And
Right.
that's huge, because we have tried a lot of the stuff on TV, Call now and just, in
Yeah, yeah.
5 minutes, you'll look like Samson, Hercules, or whatever. And we'd always end up in an injury, because there's no free lunch. You can't do something, and that was why I was a little bit leery about this, but this is completely different because
Well,
of the
you're watching
methodology
it.
of the workout. And it's not, you're not at home, climbing the side of the wall at your house or whatever. Anyway.
Well, thank you both. You're really inspiring. Your story is so relatable, and I just wonder if there's any last thing you'd like to say about what you're doing here and what this has done for you.
I think it's definitely worth a shot. I think everybody should try it, because I know if they try it, that they will like it, and they'll see the results. And once you see the results, then it's just one thing builds on the other, and you feel better and better. It's been wonderful.
I'd say people are naturally skeptical, just as I was, and I'd say give it a shot. Come in, and I'm sure you'll offer, a couple of free workouts or whatever. Come in, try it a couple of times, and you'll see after a very short period of time that it really does work. And it can be life-changing.
Yeah, exactly.
It really can.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Awesome.